Hello, young man.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
How's the weather there? It looks bright and sunny.
It's sunny today, but cold. They do things in Celsius here, so it's 5 degrees. What is that? 40?
No, I'm Celsius too. Actually, everywhere else on the planet except the States is on metric.
Rinse it off and see if
I muscle tested it too.
it's bad.
You shouldn't have sent it or sold it. That's what I feel about it.
Did you open it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Bummer. Okay. So you're going to walk down and get something else?
I think.
Okay. All right. Sorry, we had a household emergency.
Ah, no worries. No worries. Everything all right?
Well, she was going to cook a leg of lamb, and when she opened it up, it was past its use-by date and is spoiled. So
Oh, bummer.
she's going to have to make something else. All right. So share my screen. Let's see. You told me how to do this once, right?
So are you living there now, or are you just staying there for a while?
Staying with friends. We're watching their dogs while they're in Madeira.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So we made a mistake yesterday. Can you see what the mistake was?
You made a mistake. And it's on this.
No, it's not here. Remember what I told you about the sheet names? The macro that processes this file, you speak macros, right?
I do.
So it's called save small.
Oh yeah, that wipes out all the formulas.
Let me just see. Okay, so if I look through this gently, let's just take a quick look through it. Okay, it does a bunch of declares. Gives a name for the active workbook, gets the path, gets the sheet names names that as a control sheet, and gets the courses as the courses sheet.
Are we supposed to be looking at code?
Yeah, can you see it?
No.
Okay, let me just see. You share the desktop. Okay, let's try that. Let me know if you can see that now.
Yep, there it is.
Okay, so a whole bunch of declares. Name the workbook, collect the path, name our control, which is our sheet names, save the courses. And then all this does is speed things up. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that is funny is they have abbreviations for the locations, and they have changed several times. And course leaders and the world headquarters disagree on how things are named in 3 cases. Bombay has not been called Bombay since 1996. And it's now called Mumbai.
Yep.
However, the records go back before 1996, so they still use BOM as the abbreviation for Mumbai. And for some reason, they changed the name of the New Jersey Center to the Edison Center. Edison. And Newport Beach is now called Orange County. So New Jersey went from a large geography to a city, and California went from a city to a county. Go figure. So, but we've agreed to use what World Headquarters uses. So we call them Bombay, Edison, and Newport Beach. So anytime we find somebody who's referred to it as Mumbai, New Jersey, or Orange County, okay, hold on. I got to handle this.
Sure.
Ooh, away.
I shouldn't even fix that for the dogs. I shouldn't even put it for them.
Yeah, they'd eat it fine.
They make it sick.
No, not if you cooked it.
You don't cook it.
Yeah, cook it. Yep. Anyway, so that's what these do. They just change for each of the sheets, you know, for each temporary sheet and the list of sheets, activate it, change it, do the next sheet. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then it turns out that there's the abbreviation there's a word location in that last sheet. I'll show it to you, but if I have to go back to the sheet names and put the OC back in there, because LOC, location, anyway. All right. Then in our file, it says, see this column that says date stamp?
Yes.
That's the cell name of where the updated date stamp goes. And some of them don't have it, like this one's blank, so it doesn't do it. So this next chunk of code goes through each of the sheets, and if the date stamp is length is 0, then there's no date stamp. Otherwise, it's true. And then if it's true, then I activate that sheet and I unprotect it and I jam in the date stamp. Any question about that bit?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So those ones that are blank, they're supposed to be blank, right?
Yeah, that means there's just no date stamp on that particular sheet. For example, there's one sheet where a leader can type in their own initials, or a coach can type in the initials of one of the people they're coaching, and it'll bring up all of their courses. There's no date stamp on that. It's not a static report that was crafted on a particular day. It's just a kind of a worksheet. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then this is just removes the formula from the courses tab. You know, there's 3,000 courses and 400 columns, you know, 120,000 formulas in there. So by removing it and replacing it with values, so what it does is selects the use range, copies it, and then pays special values. Removes all the formulas. Makes that sheet smaller.
Mm-hmm.
The calendar needs to be sorted in a particular order, so it's sorted by, you know, C1 through C. It just sorts on values, so I get all the access to power first, and then the access to power enhanced second, and then all the power to create, and then the power to create plus, and then all the course leader days and all that stuff. So anyway, that's just sorts that, so it's predictable. Okay. And then there are different columns here. You know, there's protected, visible, static, delete, and extract.
Mm-hmm.
So what this does is it goes through and says, is it static? And if it's static, it does, you know, removes the, you know, paste equals values. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then it looks at protect, visible, static, and delete. Saves those as Booleans. Okay. and then it processes those things. Okay?
Hmm.
And
Who originally wrote all these macros?
I wrote a lot of them, some of them I inherited. Okay, but what I want to, so here it goes from, it gets the sheet name from the control sheet. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And row one is a label, so it starts from row 2. So it just gets the sheet name, okay? And then it sets the sheet name to that name.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that?
Yeah, in the control.
Now can you see what we did yesterday? We changed the names of the sheets.
Oh, when this is supposed to do it for us.
Yeah, so see where,
Where's the control sheet? Is that hidden?
yeah, this is, no, it's right here. It's called sheet names. That's this is the control.
Okay.
Okay? However, see this where it says World Headquarters Cap 2018?
Right.
Remember yesterday we changed it to 2019?
Right.
So we have to fix that, right?
Okay. So whatever we want it to be, this is where we change it on this
Yeah,
sheet.
we changed the tab names. These have to match, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't reference them by relative position. You know, I could say activate, you know, set sheet name number 1,
Right.
but this we changed to 2019, right? I don't think we changed any of the other ones, did we? 2019, and we didn't do that. Okay, so anyway, so that was an error. So I now can save it. Do you know what kind of error it would give?
No, it would just stop, wouldn't it?
It would say out of range. Yeah, it would say out of range, and then if you click debug, it would say that.
Yeah, it would take you to that area, wouldn't it? It would just highlight it in yellow.
Yeah, it would take you to that area of the macro. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now I have a little assignment for you. I'm going to send you this file. But see these tabs, Cape since implementation?
Mm-hmm.
They have the leader's picture.
Yeah.
I think those pictures are enormous.
Enormous?
I think the full size of that picture is, you know, an 8x10.
Oh.
And it's just, you know, it's just.
Doesn't look it.
I know.
That looks pretty pixelated.
Yeah, but what I'd like you to do is, if you could, I'm going to send you this file. Take a look at those things and see if they are.
Just right click on it. Doesn't look that big. Format.
Size and properties.
Yeah. It's tiny. It's 0.72. It's properties. What's the, does it say the width? Relative to original picture size. I can't click on anything. It looks pretty small to me.
Anyway, if you could just check them, because I'm not sure all of them are small. But size and properties.
An inch. Yeah. Like, are you just trying to reduce the size of the file?
Yeah, if those things are big pictures, then it'll be a mess. I mean, it's artificially big. Let's just pick this one. Size and properties. See, that's 15% of the original height. So the original height is 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches.
Got it. Okay.
So that picture is how big? Can I just open it from here?
Yeah.
Nope, can't do it that
You
way.
double click on it, what happens?
Let me just save as a picture. Use Mac or use a Mac or a Windows system. Pictures.
It's only 50K. That's tiny. I don't think these images are making making your file big.
Yeah, but if that's 50 kilobytes. The rest of them are 5 kilobytes or 6 kilobytes.
Yeah, but 46 kilobytes on an 8 meg file.
Yeah.
It's not
Anyway,
gonna not gonna make a big dent.
edit the file. See if you can figure out an easy way to make it smaller.
I mean 46 kilobytes. You're gonna need like over 100 images reduced that much just to even see a difference.
Anyway, I use the pictures quite a. There's 1, 2, 3.
How many liters do we have?
Right now, 34.
34. So even if we had 34, so let's say 34 times.
Anyway, I'm going to send you the file.
Yeah.
The next thing I have to do is I have to remove Teresa
Yeah.
because after 30 years, she's no longer leading. So I delete those.
It's only going to save you 1 megabyte.
Yeah, take a look and see if there's something simple to do. Just get rid of her picture.
So how does taking out Teresa affect all of the other stuff? Like, what about all of her stats, all of her historic stats? Does it refer to this sheet at all?
No. Okay. I've got the, if I take a look at the courses tab, and I look at these leaders, you know, I've got leaders from, you know, Marcel and Shona, people I don't even know their names. India's Awada-san's no longer leading. Elise is no longer leading. Judy Maloney is no longer leading. Jean Lloyd is no longer. Rita Glass is no longer. Nelson Neiman. Anyway, so it's fine to have the remove leaders. In fact, if I come back here and I look for I put in Jean Lloyd. It still pulls up her courses, even though her last course she led was March of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, 5 years ago. So it's fine to have the old leaders there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that one we did. 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 Here's the current quarter game. There's a puzzle in this one that I don't know how to fix yet. And maybe you could take a look at it. There's a thing called the last 5 weeks. And that will accumulate. I mean, we don't have courses every week, most weeks, but Easter, there are no courses anywhere in the world. There's a week when the course leaders have a forward, you know, where they're all on, you know, a week of training. There's no courses that weekend. Christmas and New Year's, there's no courses. Rarely. We had one in Bangkok on Christmas Eve this year, or last year. But the last 5 weeks continues to go, but right now, column E of courses, if I were to go there, that would be the Saturday date of the course. So that's the day one course date.
Mm-hmm.
So on the week of December 22nd and the week of December 29th, there were no courses.
Mm-hmm.
But when I put out the report, I want to keep incrementing the last 5 weeks.
Is it truly the last 5 weeks or the last 5 courses?
It's the last 5 weeks. So this, we want to show the last 5 weeks.
But so what do you, okay, so what's the question? Do you want to delete those 2 weeks and then add on the 2 previous weeks? Is that what you're trying to do?
It works fine if there are courses every week. So when I did the report for the week of December 15th, I included all of those courses. The week of the 15th, the 8th, the 1st, the 24th, and the 17th.
Yep.
There were no courses the following week, but on the 22nd, I want to include those courses. I want to throw away that India and Europe course, that Hyderabad and London course from
Right.
the regulations. And then on the 29th, I want to not include the Auckland and the Ahmedabad
So you have, the only way around that is to add a row
And
for those dates, but have all of those other columns like empty.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, maybe. So,
Of course, you know, it screws up your averages because you've got a 0 in there.
yeah, you don't want to do that. So this says includes 13 courses from the 17th of November to the 15th of December.
So technically, this is actually the last 5 courses. It's not the last 5 weeks. It's the last 5 weeks most of the time, until you're missing a course.
Yeah, so I can calculate the courses. I don't know what that ringing is. So it looks at R14 minus 28 to R14. So if R14 is a Saturday date, then
You have to add a step in there. You're gonna have to create a process that will actually create your list of 5 courses.
yeah. So
Like it'll look back and it'll go, okay, what are the dates? And if those dates don't have any data, then it'll go back to the next. It'll create a table, and then from there, that table will have to populate this table.
yeah, so week 5 is, you know, the date is updated is the date the report is run could be a Saturday or a Sunday after the course. See, the 23rd of December was a Sunday, 8 days after the last course, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do I always get a Saturday? How do I get a Saturday from that?
From the 23rd?
No matter what that date turns out to be, if it's a Saturday or Sunday or a Monday or whatever.
No, that's another function. You're gonna have to go back to that other table, that source table, and add a column that looks at the date and gives you the day, either Saturday or Sunday.
Well, let's take a look. So if C1 is that date, right? So weekday of C1, we know that's a Sunday. So 1 is a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do C equals C1 plus
No, because because you actually want the Saturday, so it's
right?
yeah, but you want
That's 2 weeks after it, right?
is that what you want? The Saturday after? Like, what date are you after to begin with?
I'm not sure yet. That's
Is it the Sunday? You want the Saturday
that's
of
the
that
Saturday right
weekend, you have to -1. So if the day is 1, then you're going to want C1 -1 to give you Saturday to get that date.
and this is equal to that equal that minus 7, right? 7 is that square looking one, right? So minus 7. Calculate sheet. See why I don't, it's why I turned calculation to manual?
Oh no, I ran into that too. Back in the day.
Okay. So those are the weeks. Now, if I changed that to the 30th of December and calculate it, oh, let's try the 31st. 31st of December 18 and calculate the sheet. Yeah, so that's giving me what I want. It's giving me the Saturday date, approximately 8 days before that. And if I do the 8th of January 19, yeah, so that's that's giving me what I want. So that's that table that you wanted me to do for the last 5 weeks, based on that updated date.
Well, yeah, well, that's the first part. And then you have to bounce that up against,
Okay.
is
So
there actually a course for that weekend?
courses, India courses, Singapore. Okay. So this is equal to count if courses E comma $T6. $T6. Okay, so that gives me the total number of courses, right? For that week. Now, if I go to my courses, the region is B and the location is A. So how do I get India courses?
So that's the courses.
Equals India, right?
Courses B equals India, some products.
Equal $T6. Are you familiar with some product?
Vaguely. I haven't really used that one too much.
Okay, I would use it for everything if it weren't so goddamn slow.
Oh, it's just like VLOOKUPs until you discover indexing.
Yeah. So what this says is minus minus is it's hard to explain why it works, but it does. It takes that array and makes it a Boolean array, and then some product does a count. So what this does is it looks at the column B of courses and builds an array of zeros and one, yes and no, whether or not it's equal to India. Okay?
Yep.
And then it does the same thing for the day one equal to the 1st of December. So I've got two very big matrices of 0, 1. The sum product will multiply the arrays position by position.
Right.
So I'll only get a 1 if both of those are true.
Right.
If either of them is a 0, I'll get a 0, of course.
Yeah, and then it adds it all up.
Then it adds that long matrix up of places where they're both equal. So the sum product minus minus, condition 1, comma, condition 2, comma, condition 3 will give you just the total where all of those conditions are true. Okay? And if I copy this formula here, but what I want is not courses, but I want location as Singapore. Is Singapore. Should have India courses in there somewhere, so somehow it's not calculating right, is it? Let's just see. Yeah, so I don't have any Singapore courses, but I have India courses. So this would be total. Okay. And so
We
the
have to do Dublin too.
minus that minus that. Okay, now if I calculate.
Do we have to do Dublin?
This one includes everything except India and Singapore. Oh, and Dublin. Dublin. So Dublin. So come on. E equals T6, and this equals DB. And then this has to be include subtracting that one, right? So now if I go back to this to be the 15th of December, when I included the Dublin course, whoops, I should say Dublin, right? Where's my Dublin course? There it is, 1st of December. So it should be right there. First of December. Oh, that should be A. The location is A. Now that should be right. Okay. So now the last 5 weeks, I can change this to include 25 courses, right?
And that 25 would go where?
Includes that 25, which is U12. U12 courses from text of T6 to 7, 8, 9, 10, T10, right? Okay. All right. So now if I change this to the 7th of January, okay, I'm happy with that. 7th of January. Now if I change that to the 15th of January. Oops, come on. 15th of January. All right, so your solution of building a separate table works. I mean, it'll be up to you, but one philosophy that was used in the courses tab was to use one column or one group of columns for one report. So that if I needed to change that report and I needed to change the logic in that column, I didn't have to keep track of what other reports those columns were used for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if I look at, I mean, there's some of them which is, this is day one course. So if I ever need a place where I want to find out how many access to power courses there were on the 3rd of November, then I just have to look for that value in that column. But there are some of them which are, you know,
Well, those are machine dates, right?
yeah, day one course location, day one course, yes, no, did they make the landmark form GPH? Year course, did they make the landmark form registration? I mean, that's a kind of a specific use course, right? There are some places where yes, no becomes 0 and 1, so you can add them. Now, I want to show you this construction because it's used several places. What we want to get is in order, in some sort of, take these courses. These courses are just in order of appearance.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to list the courses, say by location, suppose I wanted all the Auckland courses before all of the Baltimore courses.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way it's done. So the formula is, let's find another. If this is the first time I've seen a course in Indian Hyderabad in 2018, then I put the region in the center here. And if it's not the first time I've seen it, then I put all Z's. And then here, I count the number of things that are less than or equal to. So I count all of the things that show up before India and Hyderabad in that column. And I get 2018, 15. So India Hyderabad is the 15th for 2018. And Hong Kong is the 21st and San Diego is the 42nd, but whatever that is.
So that's the first course ever for that region?
The first time it shows up for that, this is
For that year or for
whatever it says. If CX, I don't know what CX is, but it's like the first power to create in that location for that year. Let me show you where that's used. Here's the rollout schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to find out, it's no longer valid because, we've gotten rid of the 2017 calendar, but suppose I took 6th of January, 2018. See what this is? It's Atlanta, Austin, Bombay, Boston, Melbourne, Phoenix, San Francisco, and Toronto.
Yeah.
Those are in alphabetical order.
Okay, so how does that table populate? What am I looking at? Rollout schedule.
So because ZZZ will show up larger than any other, when I look for count the number of times it's greater, this count if greater gives me the sequence. Anyway, so that's, if you see that's construction, that's what it's doing. It's essentially trying to get things in alphabetical order based on some parameter. So
And this is, so the rollout schedule, what is this supposed to do? What this,
there was a time when we were rolling out the new communication course.
right.
We didn't do it all at once. Well, you couldn't because you didn't have all the locations. So essentially what happened is every course in the United States after the 17th of November 2016 became the new course. And somebody wanted to see where are the new courses this week. And it depends on their schedule, and like Slovenia, Dublin, and Milwaukee, their first course would have been late this year. But anyway, what I wanted to point out was if you see that structure with all the Z's in it, that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to, based on some parameter, put things in alphabet. Here's another one. So, oh, this is the leader's last 12 courses. So the last 6 courses, that's the 5th of the last 6, and here's the 12th of the last 12. There's a place where we wanted to see, each leader's last 6 courses. So this is Alan Silver's 2nd of the last 6. Anyway, if you see that structure, that's what it's doing. It's just trying to get things in order.
Okay.
Just take a look at it. It'll make sense to you after a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Current quarter game.
You're right back, just grabbing it. It's the juice.
Okay, and the only thing that I forgot to do here is, guess what I forgot to do?
One sec.
Okay.
Wow.
See what
Specify cap. Yeah. Oh, you only want it to be the new courses.
No, there's the power to create. So I have to.
This is cap or CPC, isn't it? Cap
Yeah,
and
but
CPC?
for this calculation, just see where I put it. 14 includes 14 courses, but it doesn't. It includes just the access to power courses. And this, I can't just do count if, right? I have to do some product of courses of E equals T6. And it's equal to an access to power. You see my course name? Let me just make sure that I didn't get the wrong column. D, all right? T5, right? Okay. So that's the access to power. There's the power to create.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's none. So there's no power creates. Oh,
No,
the dates, yeah.
picked up the wrong date, so I just made sure the dates were copied. So there are three power to create in those weeks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that there's going to be soon, like this weekend or latest Monday,
Yeah.
some requests for changes to the reports. So as soon as I get them, I'm going to send this file to you. As soon as I get those changes, I'll send them to you. And the only way I know to do this is throw you in the deep end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover your body with blood and throw you in the deep end of a pool filled with sharks.
Thanks.
But there's really no other way to do it except for
Nope, I get it.
throw your face straight in. Now you've got the experience in Excel, and you're probably better at it than I am. But if you'll just appreciate how I put these reports together, I think it will serve you. And I do it just like I just showed you. So
Yeah.
while it looked like I was fumbling around, the truth is I really was fumbling around. But wherever possible now, and it hasn't always been the case, I use hidden columns, hidden areas of the report to have the data for this report on this sheet.
Yeah.
Now, you know, so this is an example of where it's not on the sheet. See where it says, you know, if that column HJ is equal to that strange string,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's equal to that strange string, add up that column, and then divide it by this strange thing, but that's all off sheet. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
But if I take a look at pre and post implementation, see how this is on sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I find this to be a lot easier to use and a lot easier to understand and a lot easier to,
Well, it's also a lot easier to debug.
and a lot easier to debug. So this is a much newer report than this one. And if I had it to do over again, I would do it this way
Mm-hmm.
here. Now, this bottom part is like that. So once there are courses in here, the in area, the guests, the registrations, and so on will show up here in the hidden area, and the calculations will show up here. Does that make sense, Robert?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So here's remember those formulas I was showing you yesterday?
Yeah.
This is the place to really see where they're defined. So TCP guests per 100 is O divided by N times 100. So O is guests. Divided by N, which is in area.
In area. What's in area?
In the calculation of guests per 100, for a communication course, they discount people who live more than 125 kilometers from the location of the evening session.
Okay.
So the attendance is based on people who are within 125 kilometers, 75 miles. So somebody who's doing the course in Denver but lives in Vail
Right.
is considered out of area. And while they're, of course, encouraged beyond reason to be there, I mean, they're really encouraged to have, don't let reasons get in the way. I mean, it's too far. Come to your evening session because it's an important part of the course. The calculation grants that they may not make it.
Got it.
And
And so those numbers are on that data that's typed in, right?
in the courses tab. So if I come
Yeah.
here,
Because all of that is like hard coded.
yeah. So if I look at this Montreal course,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it was the 15th was the day one, and it was a Tuesday evening session on the 18th.
Yeah.
And there are 30 people started, which doesn't include reviewers.
Right.
Now, you're going to want to become a master of the statistics. So So the number of people who start, people get really confused, but if you think about it, somebody who's doing the course a second time, we do that because we're in service of our graduates. But from a statistical point of view, we don't count them. You know, they don't count for attendance, they don't count for the guests, they don't count for nothing. You know, they're more than welcome to do the course. We'd love them for that, but they're not going to participate in the calculation. So
Calculation. Yeah, that makes sense. Totally.
okay. Now, there are people who do the course with a scholarship. There are people on staff. There are the staff member's husband. There's somebody who got sick in the middle of the course last time and is doing it again, and we graciously don't make them pay for it.
Yeah.
How somebody pays for a course and how much they pay for a course makes no difference. So what if there's a reviewer who's also a scholarship? Well, he's a reviewer. Well, what if there's a participant who's also a scholarship? Well, he's a participant. He's not a reviewer. So how they pay for it doesn't make any difference. Course leaders have a hard time understanding that.
So
Anyway.
so there's nothing in these sheets regarding revenue. It's all about just the participation stats.
Exactly, it's the participation stats. So this Bangkok had 125 people, 120 of them graduated, so 5 people left during the course at some point. 83 of them are in area, which makes 37 out of area.
Right.
And 64% of those in area attended, which is 77%.
So when you say attended, what do you mean?
They count the number of people who come to the evening session.
Okay.
So that's percent attended the evening session. But again, that only is the 83. So they don't count those 37 who live
out of the area, right?
25 kilometers away. Now, 100 guests were brought. Those guests could be brought by reviewers. They could have been all bought by reviewers. They could have been all bought by the out-of-area people. We don't care. We give them credit as though all the in-area people brought the guests. So the guests per 100, that 120, if I take a look at it, is, you know, so it's 100 guests, right?
Yep.
Divided by 83 in area times 100. Okay? 120. Okay? So that 120 only counts the in area. The registration, there are 25 registrations out of 100. We can do that in our head. That's 25%. The registrations per 100. So if I take equal 25 registrations divided by 83 in area times 100, 30, okay? 32 landmark forum guests, 4 registrations for 13% and 39% guests per 100. Okay? Of those 125 participants, 116 are potential for the next course.
So where are the actual registrations?
There's 4 registrations for the landmark forum. There are 25 registrations for the communication program. And there are 59 registrations into the Power to Create.
Yes.
So 59 of those 116 people registered into the Power to Create. And the reason it's called Next is if it's a Power to Create course, like this one, this LA course, there are 22 people registered in the Team Management Leadership Program out of that 41. Okay?
Yes.
So all of those, like you said, all of those numbers for the in area and the number of guests are from the World Headquarters statistics. Now, this column right here, this K, O, P, T, U, X, and Y,
Yes.
those are the columns of the courses tab.
Okay.
So K is the in area grads, O and P are the guests and registrations, T and U are the guests and registration, and X and Y are the potential and registrations for the next course. So anyway, that's just as a memory jogger here, but the calculation is guests divided by in area times 100 and then rounded. If I take a look at the TCP registration, it's registrations divided by guests, rounded to 2 decimal places, kept as a percentage. The registrations per 100 is registrations divided by in area times 100 rounded to an integer. Okay? The power to create registrations is next registration divided by next potential.
That was a percent.
The number of people in an access to power registered in the power to create is the number registered by the divided by the potential. Okay? Line mark form GPH is line mark form guest divided by in area times 100. Line mark form reg is line mark form registration divided by guests. And the line mark form registrations per 100 is registrations divided by in area times 100. So those are the formulas you were asking about yesterday.
And that is the current quarter game. Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Now this, what we want to do is we want to be able to add up all of those things. So rather than trying to add them up from the courses tab, the courses that I'm including are right here. Okay? So these are the only courses that I'm including in the quarter game. Does that make sense? We did that.
Okay, got it.
We
So
did.
that was that list we made yesterday.
So this is, I want to find week 1 in that table. So that's what that match says. It says, find week 1 in that table. Okay? And then it says, so week 1 occurs in row 1, week 2 occurs in row 2, week 3 occurs in row 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's week 3. Week 4 is in 7, and so on. Does that make sense?
Where are we? Oh, there.
So week 6 is 16 rows from the top. There's week 6 right there, 16. If I take a look up in the way on the
Oh, got it. Yeah, okay.
see where it says 16 rows times 1 column.
Yeah. So just creating an index reference. Okay.
Exactly what I'm doing. So here, week 10 is number 28. So if I go down to week 10, it's 28. Okay. And then this in area is, you familiar with the offset?
Yeah.
So what that says is, what I want to do is I want to take this offset I want to take the I'm just building an array starting at N52. So N52, that cell right there becomes the base, becomes the anchor point. And the number of rows is Y53, 1, and the number of columns becomes 0. Okay?
Yep.
So what I'm doing is I'm just adding up those things
Those things. Yeah.
for that week. So, okay? It's a way to get the last 5 weeks. Anyway, so that's, again, it's building some of the data on the table. Y65. I think I have to add the bottom row just because of, there's one course. And then this, let me just, match. And then this has got to be not through 119. It's got to be through 120. And then if I calculate that sheet, and then this is not 20, it becomes 22, right? 21, 20. Okay. How's your brain?
So far, so good.
Yeah, I'm starting to. Yeah, I can only work on this only for a fixed amount of time.
Yeah, I get it.
My brain turns to porridge.
Definitely, yeah. Send me this file, and then.
So what I'll do is I'll send you this file. The most important ones are the intent. These 3 tabs. Those get the most attention of anything, and they're quite complicated. So I'll send you this file, but take a look at those. And we don't have a call until next Wednesday.
Yeah.
But what I'd like you to do is for this current quarter game, see if you can find out why those values are there.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
We're going to end a little early tonight.
No worries.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, was this useful, watching me struggle with it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
Take a look at those 3 tabs, the intent, the pre and post implementation, the current quarter games, and ask me anything.
I will. I will.
All
Yeah,
right?
so this weekend, well, tonight I have to go into the center and set up, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm in the forum.
Okay.
So I'll look at this for
Do
about
Monday and Tuesday, and then we'll come get back together on Wednesday.
yeah.
All righty?
I'll be all perfect.
All right, good.
And Thanks for the videos too, that this is going to prove very valuable.
I hope so. All right, young man.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All righty.